vFairs is an all-in-one event tech platform. We help organizations across the world, whether these are small startups or Fortune 500 companies, universities, governments, with their events, whether they are in person, virtual, or hybrid. And again, we provide pretty much end-to-end service, from event registration ticketing to badge printing, to the mobile event app, and to the virtual event solution, along with any services added on top of that.
Welcome to Business Ninjas, brought to you by WriteForMe, where you'll hear from business leaders who are out there growing their business and slaying it every day. Learn from the masters. Let's get started.
Hey everybody, this is Max Pittman from WriteForMe, and you're listening to another episode of the Business Ninjas podcast, where we meet the experts who are making things happen and scaling their businesses. And today we're talking about vFairs with Mr. Mohammed Younas, also known as Younas around the office, who is the CEO and founder of vFairs. Younas, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you so much for having me on your podcast, Max. Looking forward to it.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm excited to dive into what's going on at vFairs. And vFairs in the event tech space, and the company's been around since 2017. And I'm familiar with you guys being in the tech world. And before we jump into the organization, our community at Business Ninjas is built of entrepreneurs and executives like yourself, but also lots of sales and marketing leaders. So, as the CEO and founder at vFairs, if you can tell the Business Ninjas community a little bit about yourself and some of the things you're focused on, I think it'd be a great place to start.
Absolutely. So vFairs is an all-in-one event tech platform. We help organizations across the world, whether these are small startups or Fortune 500 companies, universities, governments, with their events, whether they are in person, virtual, or hybrid. And again, we provide pretty much end-to-end service, from event registration ticketing to badge printing, to the mobile event app, and to the virtual event solution, along with any services added on top of that. About myself, again, my name is Mohammed Younas, founder and CEO of vFairs. Founded this company back in 2017 and helped grow this company from literally 2 people back in 2017 to almost 230 plus people right now. We are currently serving more than 2,000 plus customers from 50 plus different countries and across 100 plus different industries. So that's just a brief about vFairs and about myself. I'm happy to dig deeper into any of those.
Yeah, that's awesome, Younas. Yeah, it sounds like you may have, as an executive entrepreneur, saw a gap in the marketplace potentially, right? Like maybe it was, hey, Eventbrite is, their focus isn't necessarily maybe our focus, or you didn't, maybe there was, something that you saw. Well, I'm just kind of curious, like what's the origin story? Like what's the back of the napkin aha light bulb moment that maybe you had it back in 2016, 2017 that brought you starting building this company?
Actually, it started a lot earlier than that. What happened was I was doing my master's degree from University of Texas at Austin. And like any other university, I used to attend job fairs in that particular university. So I still remember at that time in Austin, this is back in 2006, 2007, one of the best companies to work for in Austin at that time was IBM. So I was in a job fair. I wanted to meet an IBM recruiter. And I had to wait in line for almost 2 hours to meet with that particular recruiter because, IBM was big in Austin at that time. They were one of the few global companies other than Dell and, HP and a couple of others. In 2 hours, I was waiting for to have a conversation with the recruiter. And, literally that conversation that I had with the recruiter ended in 2 minutes. The recruiter, of course, was courteous because he had to speak very, very quickly with everyone because there's a long line of prospective candidates waiting to talk to him. And I was just in a shock. I was like, such a waste of time for everyone, not just for, again, us who were standing in that line, even for the recruiter, because clearly he was courteous. And I don't think so he was benefiting much from the conversation. He was asking us to give, him our resume. And then he would say, you can go ahead and check on the website and learn a bit more about the company. So I remember I went to the university event committee team. I was like, clearly this can be done a little bit more in a much more organized way. And they were like, we are up for any solutions. If you have any other solutions, please let us know. Again, at that time, I didn't know how to, I can build a business, build a startup, etc. But at that time, I decided that, I'm going to go back and look into the events industry and see, you know, um, again, try to give all the benefits that event typically requires, but then also remove a lot of hurdles that happens in any event, specifically in-person events at that time. So that was the starting kind of just moment for me, that I'm going to go ahead and, one day fix this part, fix the part where, there's just a lot of inefficiencies that happen in events, and, I'm just going to make it a little bit more efficient as and when I will get the opportunity.
Love it. I love. How long ago was that?
So what happened was, again, this happened, and, it was in my mind, and then I started working for a company, for a job site company. So when you work for a job site company, what happens over there is that you're naturally dealing with employers and job seekers, right? Because that's what the job site is all about. And job site, typically they sell two products. They sell the product for for employers to search for resumes, and they serve and they allow, of course, employers to post jobs and get the applicants. And just very initially, my job became in that particular company more of an internal entrepreneur, which is, again, you have this audience, but can you come up with new products where you can help us monetize this audience a lot more? So the very first thing I did was I started looking for a solution that can help me run a virtual job fair. So I wanted to run virtual job fairs because in my head at that time, even for University of Texas Austin, I wanted to go back to them and give them a solution that, by the way, do in-person job fairs, but also try to do virtual, because with virtual, I might be able to match a recruiter with a candidate a lot more efficiently. And also, again, tons of other benefits with virtuals, right? So I started looking for a solution to help me run a virtual job fair. The solution I found either were just extremely, extremely expensive, and were providing pretty much no services on top of it, which is, this is going to be my first virtual job fair. I don't know how to run one. I don't know what exactly it takes other than technology to get employers on board, get, job seekers on board, how to sell it, and so forth, right? So I tried a couple of them. I didn't like the technology. Whenever I needed help, I didn't get any help. So, given that I come from technology background, I was like, I'm just going to build the software myself. If I have to run successful virtual job fairs or successful virtual events, I cannot depend on someone else's technology. So in the next couple of years, I built the technology, and I personally ran hundreds of events using the technology. So for me, the first business was that I was the event organizer myself, and I was doing my own very successful virtual events. Then what happened was, people started seeing my platform, and they were like, oh, we love your platform, but we want to use your platform to run our own events. And I got requests from the governments, from some of the best universities out there in the world, from some of the best companies out there in the world. This is not me even selling my software as a service, because I was using my own software to run my own events, right? So that's when 2016, 17 led to the birth of vFairs. I was getting enough demand for the software itself that I was like, this is the business I will just, get into now.
I gotta ask, how was the first, one that you ran? Like, how did it go? What did it look like?
Yeah. For the vFairs, again, see, other than these inbound requests, I still remember that once we launched the vFairs website, right? We already had few customers who would have used us purely because they were either the exhibitors or speakers in my events. But when vFairs was launched, the very first incoming lead that we got was from Nestle. So Nestle was our first customer, and I think, of course, the vFairs brand was not well known back then. And I think one of the things that they liked about just what we had to offer versus any of the established players is that we built the technology being the event organizers themselves. So I think when we were having a conversation with them, they felt that this is a solution from the event organizers to the event organizers, right? And for the event organizers. So they signed up, and again, they got a great product plus an amazing customer support, and they never looked back, and ever since then they have been using us, and hundreds of other companies started using us.
That's exciting. Really, really exciting. And I appreciate you kind of sharing like the origin story to, see where you identify that there is a big gap and maybe needed to be, this job fair world could be updated, right? It's kind of, job fairs are still like that too. Like my wife was at a teaching job fair just recently, and she said it was such a waste of her time, and there's no positions available anyways, and it was just yeah, so it still hasn't necessarily evolved that much, but where you are, and where you saw as an event organizer yourself that you could do this way better, which is again how every I feel like perhaps whole story technically begins is finding those gaps and building something that can optimize this space specifically.
Absolutely. And again, I think, as you said, I think we started fixing first like in-person events, giving everyone else an option of doing virtual, because from my perspective, what I felt was that in-person events, if you think back, not now, things have changed now, but just looking back, they were never scalable. Only people who are in that location can attend that event. The second thing is they're always very expensive, even more expensive now, again, in terms of travel, accommodation, logistics, and everything. And then there's just extremely poor reporting on the ROI from everyone's perspective. So event organizer does not know what's happening, the exhibitor does not know what's happening, the attendee does not know what's happening. So, from all of that perspective, just because there was no use of technology in-person events, I just feel that there was a lot of lost opportunity over there. By doing it virtual, you make it more scalable, it's a lot more affordable, and then you get to measure the ROI the way you would want, right? But again, going back to in-person events now, so we actually also help with in-person job fairs and career fairs or conferences, any type of in-person events now. But through the use of the mobile app and the ability for you to now to capture the QR code and scan each other's QR code, you are better able to first of all match attendees with each other, match attendees and exhibitors with each other, match attendees and speakers with each other. So again, a lot of those issues that used to happen with in-person events through the use of technology now have become a lot more better. I think that's where I just see that just a win-win situation for everyone, who has just used technology to kind of benefit themselves.
Well, it sounds like you guys have definitely revolutionized the space. And speaking of which, I'd love to understand a little bit from you. You mentioned Nestle, you mentioned enterprise, you work with startups as well. Like what would you say are the top like verticals, I guess, that you guys want to partner up with? And maybe what are some of those problems that they or challenges they might be experiencing?
Yeah. Again, I think vFairs has come a long way since we started solving it for the job fairs, career fairs first. At this point, the 6 to 7 top verticals that we serve are the following. So we help companies run any type of conferences, right? Whether these are in-person events, virtual events, hybrid events, conferences as a use case is one of our biggest, customer base. The second one is trade shows. So trade shows, the difference between conferences and trade shows, just for the audience, is that conferences are always usually seminar heavy, webinars heavy, meetings heavy, whereas a trade show is more about buyers and sellers trying to connect with each other. So it's a lot more exhibition hall heavy, where you have the stands and they want to meet with attendees who are coming to attend their stands. So these are the two of the biggest use cases that we have. Again, of course, we're known for our job fairs, career fair solutions. So companies use us for their own hiring, and then universities or any of the professional organizations like IEEE or ACCA and many others, they use us to connect their membership base with potential employers, right? So universities use us, multiple employers, multiple firms coming and meeting with each other and so forth. Universities also use us for open days, so universities want to connect with prospective students from the country, from the world. So they use our software for that, for virtual as well as in-person events. And we run some of the largest food shows, events in the industry, benefits fair and so forth. So the way I've seen is that these are the top 6, 7 use cases. But if you ask me, and if I go back and check our data studio, you will see companies have used us for, I don't know, more than 100 types of events. So, you'll be surprised that people have ran Halloween party on our platform. They do sales kickoff meetings on our platform. There are virtual fiestas that happen using our platform. And I can go on, so basically, as far as you want to run event of any type, both our in-person event technology or the virtual one helps you do that. So, it's not kind of limited to any use case, but the ones that I mentioned are the top 5, 6 use cases that we typically serve.
Gotcha. Yeah, it sounds like extremely versatile. I mean, look, it's built by organizers for organizers, right? And I think that sounds a little bit like the secret sauce there. Like why choose vFairs over another organization like I don't know, Eventbrite, or you tell me like what's kind of that secret sauce for you guys?
The our vision from day one, and this is what we share with every prospect. The very first time they communicate with us, we let them know our vision. Our vision is to become the world's most loved technology to power events. So for us, that's a bigger goal, and that's a goal that we live by every single day. And what really that means is that we just don't want to give technology and walk away. We actually want to make sure that using our technology, our customers are able to run successful event. They love the technology, they love the people at vFairs that they're working with, and they love to a point where not only they express that love with us, they also go ahead and become our advocates, and they share that love with a lot of other people, that they interact with. And that's why you will see that whether it's for virtual events or in-person events or just all-in-one event tech, if you go up and look up us on G2 or Capter or any other independent review sites, we are the most loved technology out there, that our customers, kind of share, out there on social media. So that's the secret sauce, because given that we have run hundreds of events ourselves, we know that technology is one piece of it. Many people might need that consulting, might need that support on how to attract speakers, how to attract exhibitors, how to make money out of their conference and so forth. And we provide that support, that consulting support as and when required without any extra cost. For every other company out there that's services money, they're going to charge, I don't know, $200 to $250 per hour of consulting. We are of the opinion that we are not just in the technology industry, we are in the hospitality industry. See, events are very sensitive. They're sensitive in a way where someone has to work for weeks, if not months, for that 1 or 2 day of an event. It's like your wedding day. It cannot go wrong, right? And we want to make sure that as those customers are working hard for months, we try to take as much burden as possible from them and let them run a successful event. So, they get a great technology, but then they get the most amazing customer support that they would have ever seen in the technology world. So for us, I think that's our open secret sauce, where we go and let the world know that, okay, our customers can get the support from us free of charge than when they would want to. They can get 10 hours from us, 20 hours from us, 50 hours from us. But for us, that's the key. That's the key, because we know that if we can make that customer happy, they will help us get more customers.
Love it. I love it. I love the passion that you have for this too, right? I can hear it in your voice. And it makes sense, right? You guys are in the hospitality industry. I love kind of hearing that too, right? You guys are a tech company in the event world, but it's hospitality you guys are providing and tech solutions to support that. But what would you say, like, how did COVID affect the business? Like, what was the challenge there? I mean, I assumed it was, okay, great. Now we have to focus pretty much everything to virtual, right? But just kind of curious to hear your perspective over, that 2020 to 2021 to 2022 period of how things were in the organization.
Sure. So yeah, even before COVID, we were growing 50% to 100% year on year. We were already a well-established name, at least in the virtual events industry. And we already had some of the biggest brand names working with us and extremely happy with our services, right? But again, before COVID, one has to be a forward-looking organization to try out virtual events. The virtual events needs to be sold. During COVID, of course, everyone was forced to try out virtual events, and you can imagine that. I think from just our perspective, we went from almost 30 people to 230 people in 6 months. So again, we were drinking from the fire hose. There was just so much demand that was out there, and again, in many cases, we had to say no to anyone that we could not have served, the way we really want to serve customers, because again, for us, it was not about, we give technology and we walk away. We want to make sure that people are going to trust us. They get the support, consistent support that, our customers have been getting even the years prior to that. So again, as an industry, as a company, we're already growing. COVID, of course, kind of helped fast track that growth, maybe at least by 5 years. It would have taken 5 years for us to go from a 30 people company to 230 plus people right now. So it helped. After even the COVID has settled, we have seen that given that we were really focused on making sure that our customers are able to get the benefit from us. Some of them have gone back to in-person, but in-person events still using vFairs technology. So by and large, again, that worked, in our favor. And, it's a good mixture of our customers who use virtual events, some of them use in-person events, some of them use a combination of both of them, what we provide.
Yeah, I can see how COVID can accelerated a lot of businesses and also kind of put some businesses to halt. So it's interesting to hear like the success you guys found was actually, obviously pivoting to virtual and leveraging that with your existing client base and scaling that with additional customers, right?
Yep.
How are you guys continuing to scale today, right? Is there a focus on, net new account acquisition? Is the focus on expansion within current accounts? I'm just kind of curious to understand like where that revenue focus is.
Yeah. So I'll tell you, I think, revenue focus for us has always been secondary. And, just see up until now, the way we have achieved our growth is through our existing customers and our existing customers acting as educates to help us acquire more customers. So for us, again, the vision remains that we want to make sure that we become the world's most loved technology to power events. And, for us, we always double down on our strength, and our strength is to make sure that we keep our existing customers happy. And if we continue to do that, if they keep on running events, when they're running events, again, it's like, I always take this analogy, it's like, wedding, right? People come and attend those events and they ask you, where did you get this cake from, or, or this, dress from, and so forth. The same thing is with in-person or virtual technology. People go ahead and ask the event organizers, who is your technology platform provider, who provided all of those support, and they of course recommend then vFairs to them. So for us, that's a goal, and given that's a goal, that has typically helped us achieve the 30 to 50% growth year on year, just net anyways, and for us that has always been the most I would say efficient way of acquiring a customer. See, we are one of the only few companies within our industry who didn't let go of people even after COVID has settled, right? Who has not raised any money because we didn't need to raise any money, who from day one has been profitable and even right now is profitable, right? Everyone in our industry has to raise money, is constantly losing money just because they focus on acquiring customers, and acquiring a customer is a very, very expensive exercise, for years up until you can convert that into a positive NRR, right? For us, it's opposite. For us, it's take care of your existing customer first. That will help you get more customers, and that's just our strategy.
Yeah, well, it's impressive, right? 30% year-over-year growth just by continuing to service and provide a white glove experience and provide an impactful experience once the events are actually happening. To see you guys grow kind of naturally and organically through referrals and through repeat businesses is really impressive, to say the least.
Yeah.
But did you mention that like you're potentially starting to look at at new pipeline opportunities versus like an inbound? Are you guys doing anything from a sales perspective?
Yeah. See, we recently, of course, again, we want to make sure that more and more companies are able to experience our technology. So we have grown our sales team. So again, up until now, it has purely been inbound, and we have been fully consumed with inbound to begin with. Again, as things settle and as we want to achieve that, next goal that we want to achieve, we have built an outbound team. So again, they're going out there sharing the success stories of our existing customers. So we do that. Of course, we work on SEO, SEM. We work on PR. We're heavy on doing customer success stories and customer case studies. So we do that. We let our customers speak on our behalf on different conferences, on different webinars, on different topics, because I think for us, the way I see it is that if the customer can sell it for us, that's just the best way of doing it here.
Yeah, exactly. So it is kind of the goal, right? What's something that you want to be celebrating, I guess, by the end of this year, if that's the end of your fiscal year or whenever that might be. I'm just kind of curious, like what's kind of that North Star you guys are working towards in the next fiscal year?
Yeah. So for us, again, we are pretty heavy when it comes. We're kind of betting pretty heavy when it comes to AI. So we are integrating with OpenAI, and we already have launched tons of AI based modules around content generation, for our customers, and they're loving it. We are taking that OpenAI into a lot of different sections within the platform, right? So you will see that in few months to a year, people will be able to come and just literally add a prompt in our system and say that, by the way, based on some of the successful vFairs event that has happened in the last 2 years, can you create a landing page, a registration form, and the webinar agenda and the event on vFairs? And literally through a single click, a lot of those things would be done. So I again, I just believe that OpenAI will make everything even more efficient. So again, when I go back and again go back to the point where I felt there was a lot of inefficiency in that job fair that I attended, and again, I have seen that through the use of vFairs technology, we have improved a lot of that. I just feel that OpenAI in a year will help us again add huge amount of efficiency in a lot of things that we are already doing, right? So for us, that's just one key goal that I believe that we'll be celebrating in less than a year from now.
Good. Yeah, need to be having those conversations now. I mean, who knows what's going to look like even in 6 months from now?
Exactly.
And we're definitely having those conversations ourselves internally, even as the content generation company, about like how is AI going to affect our ability and our workflows and our efficiencies internally, and we've already been testing out different ways to think about how it can help us kind of do our tasks at a superhuman level, right? Seeing how we can include that as part of our platform and services too. So you definitely have to be talking about AI, and it's funny to hear like how I don't know how that would affect, like what the use cases would be and how that would affect kind of the event space. Like, what are you guys seeing are ways that could add efficiencies to the business?
Yeah. So the way I see it is the following. For me, AI will be able to add efficiency in a lot of things. Having said that, I'm just going to give you the opposite first, and then I will come back to AI. Having said that, AI will never be able to, have the same impact that a human touch will have the impact on. For example, right? So, a lot of us can hear any type of music on Spotify or on YouTube or wherever people listen that music on, but yet we still pay hundreds and thousands of dollars to go in a concert just because we want to be around people, we want to have fun with people, right? So just going back to AI and the events tech industry, see a lot of things that typically people ask us about, right? Okay, can you help me draft a landing page or a session form, the event agenda, and a lot of other things? Can you please go ahead and through the use of AI, just automatically build it for me? And they will be able to do that with vFairs. But I still feel that the human consultancy that vFairs provide, we are still doubling down on that one. So we are not, we feel that having the conversation I'm having it with you, being able to really, give you my point of view of why I believe X will work versus Y, I feel that human touch will always be extremely important in the event tech industry. So again, content generation, figuring out the right features, all those kind of things, AI will replace a lot of that, and we are planning to work towards it, and we are working towards it. But I think one thing that AI will not replace, and at least we're doubling down on that one, is just human touch. We feel that will always have a very special place in everyone's life.
Agreed. Yep. Same here. That's what we're thinking about it as well, being in the content world. Well, look, Younas, like it's been great chatting with you and getting to know you a little bit. And as we wrap things up here, is there anything you'd like to share, that you think our listeners, need to know about you or vFairs or the company that we haven't covered thus far?
So for us, again, see, we are a company who, again, as I said, our vision is to become the world's most safe technology to power events. We want to make sure that we spread that love to, as many people, as many companies as possible. So if any one of you is planning to run an event, whether it's virtual, in person, or hybrid, again, you can find us on vFairs.com. So it's V is for virtual, and then FAIRS.com. We do help customers with both in person, virtual, and hybrid events, right? So we support them with all. If you want to connect with me, I'm on LinkedIn. So it's linkedin.com/in/Younas, which is my last name. Yeah, I think for your, if you're a listener of this podcast, you can just mention that, you came from the podcast reference, and, you'll get a special kind of a discount as a result of that. So I just wanted to let your audience know about it.
That's awesome. Yeah, absolutely. That's super cool. I'm glad you can, help you guys out. Let me ask this question now. When you help out, your own companies, what about yourself? Like, are you guys doing any events coming up? Like, where are you guys going to be? I have to ask that.
So we do our own events all the time. So again, what we are doing is that starting just May 17th, We are doing our weekly webinar series, so people can continue to learn about our latest offering, about our products, and about what we're doing through that weekly webinar. That's one. We are going to do our biannual virtual event, which is more about the future of events. So that's going to happen sometime in late July, early August. And then we are having a lot of our customer meetings in different cities. So we have one coming in Toronto in the first week of June, and then we have one coming in New York later in June. So again, just trying to make sure that we meet our customers, we meet our prospects, both in person and virtually through the webinar series as well as customer user conferences.
Very cool. That's great. Well, love to hear more about the future of events and you guys hosting that. That's interesting for sure. Love to see if we can be a part of that. And yeah, look, hey, Younas, it's been great chatting with you. You guys are an established name. You guys work with some great brands. Your technology is obviously doing a lot in this space. It seems like the platform is there for to make things well, first, versatile, efficient, and affordable, and to deliver success, which is in the terms of ROI, right, around events, being able to track that. So from the outside looking in, definitely sounds like it's a versatile platform for in-person, virtual, and hybrid. And I can see why you guys are continuing to grow organically, and love to see how you guys grow over the next few years too, as the world changes. So hopefully, yeah, I appreciate you being here.
Thanks so much, Max, for having me on the podcast. I enjoyed our conversation.
Yeah, you too, Younas. Well, that wraps up another episode of our Business Ninjas podcast. Thank you so much, everyone, for listening. Go check out vFairs. It's vFairs.com, and reach out to Younas if you can, and have a great rest of the day, everyone. Cheers.
Thank you, everyone.